The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello, all you beautiful thinkers and wanderers. Welcome to Think Out Loud with me. I'm Natalie P., and if life has taught me anything, curiosity saves lives, and the best conversations are the ones we don't script. Life's a big, beautiful, messy learning opportunity, and here in my space, well, we let the inside voices out so others can hear, relate, and create with new purpose. This is a space for questions, connection, and those deep, real human conversations that crack open new perspectives. So grab a seat, open your mind and your heart, and let's think out loud together.
Ooh, I love that. I just am over here dancing. Isn't that fun? Mm-hmm. What a fun time to come together. I am giddy after hearing that. I'm glad I'm standing up. I would have been on the ground, like moving around. Thanks for being here, everyone. Welcome to Think Out Loud with me. I am Natalie P., as you just heard, and this is a new platform for me going live, and it's fun. Welcome. I'm joined by some really friendly faces. Before I say hi to them, I just want to just say hello, a genuine hello to everyone who is piping in from all over the place. It never ceases to amaze me when I get a comment or a ping from someone that says they've listened to an episode or they've read something and that little nugget of yummy when somebody says, hey, thanks for doing what you do and putting it out there. It means a lot. And in today's day and age, when time is quite literally our most precious asset, and what we spend our energy on it's a critical decision. So everyone that's joining us today and in recording and in the future and all of it, thank you for being here from the bottom of my heart. I started this podcast in 2022, May of 2022. I started it in my basement, and I wasn't feeling so hot when I started it. I was feeling kind of lonely. I was feeling kind of confused. I didn't know what I was doing with my life, and I needed some change. I knew that I needed to think out loud about it because part of the change I needed, I knew was going to be found in conversations with others. Part of the change that I knew I needed was input from others who could help me with perspective, right? Part of the input I needed from others was the learning of tools to deal with the emotions and the thoughts and the memories and the futures and the this and the that was swirling inside of my head by myself, all by myself. I had determined I was going to figure this out by myself until I couldn't figure it out anymore. And then I didn't have this microphone. I had the microphone built into my little laptop a couple laptops ago, because we blow those things up pretty fast in this world, don't we? I tapped on the microphone and I said, is anybody out there? And nobody answered. So I kept talking. And I was scared, but I kept talking. And now I'm fast forwarding to what is now, many, many episodes later. I think I'm in my 70s episodes, and I think about the humans that I've connected with since I started by myself in my basement, in my own way, saying, is anybody out there? I want to heal. I want to feel better. And I'm not sure how to do it. I'm not sure how to do this by myself. And then I'm here today and I'm thinking, I'm not doing this by myself even today. This is, I'm fast forwarding to a place of mental awareness with the three of you that is, I'm tapping into the microphone this time today, September 4th, 2025, multiple years later, I'm tapping the microphone and asking if anybody's out there. And there's a hell of a lot of people answering. Thank you. To you and you and you, and to folks that are listening right now who are thinking out loud and being brave about what it means to be in community and ask questions and wonder about where we're at as a society and wonder where we're at in our own transformation as a community, whether it's local, whether it's global, whether it's in our schools, in our home. We are actively, I'm looking at three humans who are actively engaged in brave conversations with folks. And at this moment, I'd love to transition and let some folks introduce themselves. We are here together today, myself, Heather and Jess from Hey Birdie down in Denver and Northern Colorado and beyond, and Mark Platten down in Colorado Springs. Just a really fun group that I've got here. We're here to talk about what it means to be curious about healing, the first part. And then we're going to transition into this great big event that we've got coming up in a few weeks, the Healing Curious Humans Extravaganza, HCHX 25 for short. So I want to do some setup, and I'm going to hush for a minute while I let you all talk. Sometimes that's hard for people to imagine that I actually do that. I do shush when I sleep. I talk in my sleep, as according to my sweetheart. But there are moments of silence. So Juan, I'm going to shout out on air, behind the scenes, is helping us. And so with all of that, Jess and Heather, between the two of you, Hey Birdies, talk to me, introduce yourselves, and bring yourselves into this curious conversation, thinking about, my opening and your own travels and standing up Hey Birdie. What does it mean to be in conversation in today's day and age around healing? Wrap in what you all do in this big world, the magic that you all just sparkle and throw all over creation in your own ways. Just welcome to the show. Both of you. I appreciate seeing you.
Thanks, Natalie. Thanks for your warm welcome. And always being so inspiring in the way that you show up with such rawness and authenticity. It's such a beauty to witness and be in your company.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. Jess, you are a human with just so many extraordinary, like your mind amazes me. And I'm glad to have you here as well. When you and Heather decided to create Hey Birdie, can you let us in on the little conversation that you two?
I'll set the whole scene for you.
I would love it.
When you, in your intro, mentioned unscripted conversations, Heather and I, that's exactly what it was. We were both, our youngest were in a preschool co-op. We were there volunteering. So I'm going to create the visual that I have now created, but it's not totally accurate. We're lounging in the playground, Heather and I, sipping on martinis, smoking cigarettes, looking real adorable. And we're like, do you want more? I want more. Are we allowed to swear in this? I was just going to swear and then I got nervous.
You can swear.
Okay, thank you. And it was so unscripted, right? Like we had passed each other at different points at this, like we were probably halfway through the school year and had been like, oh, your kid's cute or your kid pooped her pants, whatever. But this was a day where we were both had reached our point and we were like, fuck, is someone else out here with me? Similar to your mic call, right? Mm-hmm. Who's listening? Who's here? And then to be a woman who was navigating multiple children, multiple careers, trying to stay married, things of that nature, and to say, this isn't working. I don't want to be this perfect external image. I want more. And so we had that conversation, and then we kept having that conversation with other women. And it was almost like the first person at the dinner table to be like, let's talk about sex. It just took somebody bringing up the uncomfortable conversation of, are you really happy right now? Or do you want more? Mm-hmm. And as women, to step forward and be like, yeah, I want more, and I'm going to get it. Right. And that's the difference too, of like stating like, yes, I want this. Or like you were saying before, putting yourself first can be looked down on. Saying it out loud is step one, and then following through with it. And that's how we started our own women's group 10 years ago now. And then started Hey Birdie 4 years ago, was that we just keep feeling this vibrational response from other women, that ripple effect of seeing us have more and what that looks like and how that shows up in our life. And someone else being like, oh, I like what she's doing. I want that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's how we came to be with where we are with Hey Birdie 4 years in. Just responding to that call within ourselves of, we want more. And then all of our programming comes from that too, Natalie, and that we're like, well, if we're feeling this way, other women are feeling this way. It's a huge goddamn assumption, but
well, what happens, I think, if I can be so bold, is that the courage to speak up it's that first, it's the speak up. And then it puts it out there, right? It's now you've got this thing out there, and people react. You may be by yourself reacting because you blooped it out there, right? I'm not happy. Whoa. I had a mentor who used to say, awareness is the booby prize. Because action, what do we do now? Right? Where is like, I'm holding this now, this awareness that I don't feel, I'm being bold to own it. And now I may engage someone else to say, what do I do about it? And that is bold. It requires a level. I think a lot of folks, I know I did over the course of my life, make bold statements about the awareness that I have. And man, then I ducked and ran. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have whoa, that's an awareness I don't know that I'm necessarily capable of handling right now. Was it wrong that I put it back? No, it's aware. It's just a big, amazing life that we're leading, right? I guess is where I'm going with all of that. Thank you for giving us some context. And I agree. It can't, being in this, going ahead and moving forward and feeling good and taking action on your own part does send out ripples. And this vibration that we're talking about, the energetics of feeling good and the energetics of when we connect with others in community, which you all do so well with Hey Birdie, is keep coming in. Doors are open. This is building community so that we can get this vibration out and help folks realize we belong to each other, right? We are here on this planet together. We've worked so hard to stay apart. That's good. We got a gold star. Good job. We are individuals. We did it. Now let's figure out how we do this together in love and community. Heather, do you have anything else to add to Jess's thoughts about coming online and those days of walking past I cannot imagine you two any less than BFFs and walking past each other, looking at side eyes. I'm curious if you have anything else to add.
It's curiosity. Curiosity is the magic behind all of it. We were able to step into a space where we felt really curious about one another. And then when we have this confession or this type of connection, that was this invitation to get even more curious about what was possible if we both shared this feeling and this sensation, and what would be possible if we took action on it.
Mm-hmm.
So curiosity has been the portal or the answer or the ingredient that we've followed since the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's really the gift that creating Hey Birdie continues to give us is to stay curious.
Yeah.
So that in itself is what spoke to us about this incredible festival that you're putting on. It's the magic word.
Boy, as soon as I start, I'm like, it's like a red. What did I used to want? I wanted a Volkswagen Touareg. I wanted it like, and then all of a sudden, that's everything I see. They're everywhere. Everybody's got to be the what? No, that was gonna be mine. And now everybody's curious, and I'm like, good. Everybody just be curious. The more I hear that word, I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. It gets me giddy.
Mm-hmm.
Mark.
Natalie.
I would love to bring your voice into the conversation. I am really happy that you're here. I'm really happy that you're joining us later this month to help teach and be in community, and would love if following Jess and Heather's kind of thinking around what it means to be curious, what it means to be in today's day and age, trying to connect, trying to be a human. Would love for you to bring in the perspective. We've talked as women, we are women. I would love to bring in the perspective of men. We are setting a community that is serving all flavors of humankind. This is agnostic to flavor, right? This is how do you feel? How do you heal? How do we move forward as individuals and collective? Thanks for being here. Thoughts on the topic at hand?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate Heather and Jess, which are the curiosity thread, and Natalie for holding this magic piece of creativity and of curiosity and of wonder. And so I've got my wife and I have our oldest son and his wife, and our 2-year-old grandson are living with us. So I'm out in the really living it on a daily basis of the curiosity of that magic of childhood, right? That is like, what attracts Cal? Where is he pointing? What stimulates him? Where is his mind going? What catches him, right? What is that curiosity that catches him? And so I try to bring that into life in a lot of ways. And when we talk about the realm of, well, I'm doing a lot of men's work right now, and specifically around men in midlife who will have partners or spouses who are going through menopause or perimenopause. And can we as men be curious about what that journey is? Can we be curious about what new tools do I need to bring into the relationship that meet my partner where she is? And recognizing that the tools of what I call the prince, and not in a negative way, just like I don't call the young boy Mark something that was bad, nor is the young prince Mark, who is an early relationship, a bad reflection of who I am or was. I'm a good man as a prince. I was a good man as a young boy, or a good boy, right? And now as I'm in this midlife era, it requires me to change and set down those tools of the prince and pick up the tools of the king. And what does that mean? And then as I move into my 70s and 80s, the opportunity to set down the tools of the king and pick up the tools of the sage. And so those are all very curious places for me to kind of look at. And how can I help men in their midlife? Because my wife and I were past menopause by about a decade or so now. And so there's opportunity for me to help when we're talking about healing, to help men look at things in a different way, to pick up different tools and be curious about what this new phase is. And that's hard for us as humans. We like things to be constant. We like to know that the person we're looking at in our relationship is the same because it's safe for us. But life doesn't give us that opportunity so nice and neat. And we really don't want that. We want growth, right? And then that curiosity. So that's one field that I'm playing in. And another one that's really juicy for me right now is around the voice, is around this interesting vessel, this thing that we call voice and sacred sound, and My wife and I just got back from 6.5 months of traveling around the world. And during that journey, there were, I think, no less than 4 times where some different healer or reader or somebody came up and said to me that in certain terms that I'm a healer and people are coming. And it's like, okay, what does that mean? So the curiosity about what does that mean? And I believe it's around the voice, and it's around this gift that I've always played with my whole life, but really never put it into the world. And it's not through words, it's through just sounds. And through intention and through meditation and so I'm opening up to that. And so I'm curious about where that's leading. And so at the event coming up here, I'm going to be playing with my voice. I'm going to be inviting others to do that. And in this world of being so separated, right? We feel so alone. That's the epidemic that's going on in our, at least in the United States right now, is the epidemic of loneliness. What does it mean to connect with each other, eye to eye, heart to heart, voice to voice? What does that mean? Can we be curious around that? And especially as men who were taught to be lone wolves, like if you can't make it by yourself, if you can't do things by yourself, I'm going to come and get your man card, right? You're not really a man. If you can't fix this on your own, well, you really aren't a real man. And I think that's one of the biggest poisons, the biggest detriments, the story that's hurt us the most is this place of being separate. In all tribal cultures, not most, in every single tribal indigenous culture, men are together doing men's work, women are together doing women's work. And when women do a much better job of doing that in our society, men are like it's like there's something wrong if we want to be around another man other than drinking beer and watching sports. But what about the deeper place for men to go with each other, to support each other, to lift each other up, to be in communion, to have the older men guiding the younger men at each stage? How magical would that be? How would that change our world? So that's probably enough right now, Natalie. That's a lot.
It's a lot and it's juicy.
Right.
Right? It is. It's juicy and it's relevant and it's now. I appreciate the leadership and the curiosity to be the one out front with the mic. I in my possession, I have one of my grandfather's old magnifying glasses. And it's like, truly, you can stick it up to your eye and your eye gets like this big. It's one of those really cool ones. But to be able to go out with that and be like, I'm going out, right? I'm going to go look and see what I see, and come back and report on it, right? Is another layer of just of not only being curious for yourself, but then being curious on behalf of your community and being able to go back in and say, here's what I found. What do you guys think? It may be one of a bazillion solutions to our situation of disconnect, right? Maybe let's try this on. And then I want to just recognize and honor that the bravery of being a man doing work and doing it now. And just as much as it's not hard to be human, just as much as it's hard to be human right now, hard to be a woman, hard to be a man, hard to be a kiddo, right? We are all in these places of real awareness about who we are and our space in this place, right? Name it, own it. So I honor and recognize you for just for the ability to stay in conversation around it. And that means a lot to me. I have a wonderful, beautiful human for a partner. And I have a wonderful, beautiful human for a son, who, as men in my life, I love that they want to live better, more fulfilled lives as humans. And what can I do to support that? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Jess and Heather, I'll let you all, if you have any, just follow up on what Mark's brought to the conversation.
Mark, I do love your voice.
Absolutely.
Can we just have a minute for Mark's voice?
I know. I'm like, is he speaking from his womb? It's so deep. I have to remember you are a man. And Natalie, yes, it is brave that Mark is doing the work. It's brave that all of us are doing it, as you said. We find it interesting at times, Mark, that there are other men's groups popping up like Hey Birdie, and they meet weekly. And it's so beautiful and amazing that they have the space and a spouse and ability to have that level of accessibility, flexibility, however you want to look at it, the dedication to it.
Yeah, it's rich, right? It's again, especially if it's a group that is looking for how do we, I won't say upper game, but it's really looking for tools to support each other and to recognize that we're not alone, because we're talking about aloneness in this, right? And this weird thing of our own sovereignty and the selfishness that we think about when we talk about self-care. I love the word selfish because if you really break it down etymologically, it's self-ish. So like the self. There is nothing more that we can bring to the world than being selfish, like the self, and give ourself to the world. Not wear our cloaks of what our parents want us to be, or society wants us to be, or our spouse wants us to be, but can we show up really curious about who we truly are and what gifts we have to bring to the world? And that's magic that happens there.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be challenging, right? Because the world doesn't want us to be that way in a lot of ways. We want to be put in boxes so we know who we are. We want to put labels on us, and that keeps us safe, but it's also sterile and it's stagnant and it's not growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Heather, any thoughts?
I think you hit the nail on the head, speaking to your voice. So much magic and courage behind bringing your voice into the space. It's something that we work with quite a bit in our different flight clubs for programming, is that invitation to use your voice, to be seen and heard in whatever it is that you need to share in that moment in your healing journey. Where has your voice been muted or suppressed? And where is there an opportunity to invite it back in? And when you got a voice like Mark's, come on.
Great.
Yeah, it's a tremendous voice. I love listening to it. I was reflecting on this topic of selfishness. I wrote a blog many moons ago called Self-Centered with Purpose. And was running into that first part of my own journey where people were like, you're full of yourself, aren't you? And, wow, look at you aren't you feeling good about yourself? And as a human, as a recovering people pleaser, if that's okay with everybody, that's a joke that people don't usually get. I always laughed at it. It was in a signature of somebody's email. They said, recovering people pleaser, ... if that's okay with you. And I was like, that's so cute. But the reflection is that, yes, I'm full. That's capacity of self and capacity of value is exactly where I need to be full. I was empty of myself. I felt hollow. There was stuff missing. I'm actually, my physicalness is here, but my soul there were pieces I have been missing because of my voice not, I didn't speak up loud enough, or I was scared to speak up at all. Right. So this concept that selfishness and self-centeredness is bad. The opposite is complete depletion of myself, complete emptiness. And it didn't feel good. So in the interest of feeling better, when I started pouring into myself and pouring into my capacity, the hollows that were, lonely from disconnect or from just confusion because of a misunderstanding years ago that I needed to unearth. Letting that love in and filling up with my own love gives power to me to keep going and putting one foot in front of the other and asking the hard questions and apologizing where I screwed up. Right? We're not perfect. We are not perfect. And so selfish, self-centered with purpose, I think is key to this. So let's transition. Ba-bump. How's that? Segue. Because it's my party and I'll just do it the way I want to. Getting used to things. I'm a little rusty. It's been a couple months since I have been live and doing my podcast. I have been just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Half the time on my bike, half the time in circles, but running nonetheless. And one of the big things that I've been working on is this event late September, which is literally like 21 days away, 3 weeks away, called Healing Curious Humans Extravaganza. We are taking over downtown Loveland Art Space. Art Space is a campus dedicated to art. They've got live-in artist lofts. It's a really cool campus. Across the tracks, we've got Artworks, Contemporary Center for Art, which is a sister venue where we're going to be having workshops. And then right smack in the middle, we have this really cool building called the Loveland Feed and Grain, which is one of the older buildings if not the oldest. I can't remember. I have always sucked at getting dates and that kind of stuff right. But it supplied the first electricity to places in the area. That's cool. You talk about buzz and vibration. I've toured this building and you can put your hands on the side of the brick and it's like, to be in it is to actually feel what's gone on there. And so we've got some cool things going on inside that space. And then across the street at Aleworks, Loveland Aleworks has been generous with their back lot to host our vendor village. And we've got all kinds of things coming together for that. It's a blast. I'm just really excited. And so we've said, I have said, and with my co-creators, Leah Johnson and Jules Gillen, and then Jen Peterson's jumped on board for social, that this is right smack at the intersection of hope and healing and curiosity, right? We've got families, we've got neighbors, strangers, friends. We're all an essential piece to this greater whole, right? We're coming together September 25, 26, and 27. We are wondering, we are discovering, we are learning, and we are co-creating a world that we want to live in. We want to see love. We want to be love. We want to be engaged in loving community that supports, that celebrates, that extends hands where they're needed, that understands that mistakes get made, but we are in this together and we love and we offer tools, right? So HCHX 25, September 25, 26, and 27, downtown Loveland. We have so much in store. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be rolling it out over social and next week we've got more folks. But the three of you are specifically involved in the event. Mark is going to be teaching a workshop with the loneliness epidemic inside it, right? And Heather and Jess are going to be teaching a workshop and actually doing an activation out in the vendor village around what it means to be in community and be curious and flamingo, as Hey Birdie likes to say. What does it mean to go after your story and to get curious about things that make you feel good? So I wanted to give each of you just a chance to just think out loud about your individual workshops, what's your, the heck yeah that you're bringing to the expo, and who do you hope is going to join us? Who do you hope is listening that will join your workshop? Who is your workshop designed for? And who is listening that needs to consider being with us in a few weeks. It's local to Northern Colorado. Mark, you want to get us started with your...
Yeah, for sure. So the workshop, Natalie, you and I spoke about a couple different possibilities of what we might do, but this is what surely resonated is, again, this epidemic of loneliness that's out there. And so I'm going to be using, it's not just the loneliness that's happening, but also when we flew back into the United States, into Seattle after 6.5 months of being away, what was overwhelmingly, like, it was visceral to me, was that there was a sadness that was like permeating the energetic field of the United States. It was the weirdest thing. It sat like a heavy blanket on top of me as we entered the airport. It's like, wow, I can feel what's going on. I can feel the heaviness in the United States. And so part of this is about how do we, in this uncertain times that we're in, can we use the vessel of voice, of the physical vessel here, and of our breath, those three things that we carry with us everywhere. Can we use those to help ourselves ground, to feel centered, to feel connected, to feel safe? And then within this environment as well is the opportunity to see one another, because there's nothing worse than being alone, except for being alone in a group of people. Nothing worse than being alone in a group of people. And so for me, it's about how do we not just connect to ourselves, but can we connect to each other? And that's what the workshop will be about. And that's what I'm going to help invite in. So people who are curious about some of this work or some of these things I'm talking about what does it feel like to connect to others in a different way, more open? Is that possible? Can we use this thing, the voice, the breath, and the physical vessel here to help ground and center and feel not as afraid? You might want to show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You might want to show up. Really beautiful, easy. Not right. This is not rocket science that we're dealing with. This is very accessible, easy, and dare I say, enjoyable.
It's not performance. This is nothing I'm doing is performance at all. It's just being in your own stuff. So we're not going to be singing songs. This is within your own vessel. This is really self-intimacy, and I say that in a really respectful way of understanding and being in relationship with this body, with your body, with your voice, with your breath. Those are things that activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is that the opposite of fight or flight. It's the breathe and ground. We're safe. We're okay right now, right here. So, yeah.
Thank you. Jess and Heather, talk about your workshop.
I think our workshop and Mark's goes really beautifully together. Mark's might be we might be 101 and then Mark's 201. But we're inviting women. Sorry, my puppy's wanting to be a part of this.
Do it. Bring him on.
You want to see Coco?
Woo! Hi, puppies. What is puppy's name, please? Is he coming?
Coco.
Oh, that's right. She's coming. Oh, Coco.
No, but sometimes we think about bringing her places. She doesn't fit in a purse, so we can't get away with it. She's not a...
You didn't think about that before you got her, did you?
Nope. Our workshop is similar in people to slow down in their interactions with themselves and with others. So we can be so consumed in our phone or in our own schedules in life that we miss out on the embodiment of curiosity. To know, oh, I'm curious right now. Where am I feeling that in my body? What then do I do with it? Or am I just pushing it down because I need to reply to this text or play this game or run? And so in our space, we invite women to get curious about themselves first and to become aware of where that flame of curiosity comes on board. I know for myself, if I'm in a situation where I'm not feeling curiosity in my body, I either need to say something or it's time for me to move on. And because I'm done, I'm complete. Some people call it the Irish exit. I don't know. So we're inviting women first to check in with their bodies, and so that they can start to play with that and know where it is, so that they can access it in outside world. We always want to give participants in Hey Birdie the tool to then play with later. And then we take away the social norms, and we're having them interact with each other and just let all your curiosities fly. I'm just meeting you, Mark. I want to know what that piece of art is behind you. Did you make it? How tall are you? Who's your favorite kid, your favorite grandchild? You just had another, and you just let it ride and play with curiosity of, woo, but this is fun with happening in my body. And then for Mark to feel what it feels like to be seen, to have somebody's full attention, just mark, right? And how fun that is to play with. Like already my body is just getting all fired up and lit up.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, though, how do we take this out of the workshop? And that's always what we want to show. Like here, we played a little bit hard, but if you were standing in a coffee line instead of staring at your phone and you turn to Mark and you're like, wow, your voice is beautiful. Tell me more how you use it. Right? We're just giving people opportunities to practice how to be human outside of containers, how it feels to be seen, how to see others, how to be held, and to be held. Heather, what do you want to say?
I mean, it's always hard to follow Jess when she's feeling it, because she's feeling it. I'm like, okay, punch in. I can do it. She's the most curious human being I know, and I absolutely love and adore her in all the ways. Yeah, it's that. I think especially for women, we have such an awareness of the rules, of our own guilt or shame, or even a sensation of being a burden. And so we extend this invitation to check all that, to be able to tap into that curiosity. I think Brene Brown says curiosity creates empathy. Empathy creates connection. So what can we do to really feel one another, to go into this space? I think Mark spoke to it earlier as far as wonder and joy. How can we create something novel out of an exchange with a new human being? How can we make it different? Not the playground chatter that Jess and I could have stayed at, but how can we set that aside and get really curious about what else we could ask, or really where our mind is going and what would happen if we followed it and spoke it? So bringing all the things that we spoke about today to surface. What if we actually just allowed ourselves to go there and follow that thread of that tingle, wherever it is in your body, whether it's in your belly or your heart, or it lives on your shoulders? Where can I feel it, and how can I follow it? Yeah, I think that's what I got.
Isn't it curious that we're practicing being human? Mark, if you had to give us like your quickest tool, your tool for feeling back in your human. Like if you feel like you're walking and all of a sudden it's like untethered, which I can't imagine you do very often. But let's just say there went your balloon string. Woo! What's your tool?
Well, for me, it's nature is my sanctuary. Nature is where I go to ground. I know when I'm out, when I've spent too much time indoors, when I've taken on too much of whatever's around me energetically, it's not like I've got a choice. It's a visceral calling. It's like I need to go back. And in fact, I had this 2 days ago. It's like I've got to. It's been a week since I've been out hiking. I've been out there by myself. I have got to go out and ground and replenish and recharge so that I can come back in and do the other work. Nature is my relationship. It's why my book that I wrote is called The Art of Connecting with Nature. It's why I wrote it, is to share that out, because it's such a visceral part of my beingness is nature, and not just being in it, but connecting with it. And so for me, when I'm something's got me sideways, when I'm not feeling quiet, something is off of me, it's like I just go and plug in there. It's quick. I center, I still, it's not going somewhere, it's just being.
Yeah.
So it's much more, I say to when I'm doing courses and stuff on that the relationship with nature is not a masculine drive, go and do. And so many people in nature are that they'll go out and hike, they'll run, they'll have their headphones on. That for me, it's a very feminine invitation and surrendering and opening to receive. And while I'm in there, I receive the nourishment that I need, that grounds me and anchors me. And it's like, okay, I'm back. I remember, okay. So it's not quite, I mean, there's some breath work things I could use and some toning stuff, humming itself. Humming, if you hum for 5 minutes, just hum. Singing is an interesting way. It activates a parasympathetic nervous system. We don't think about that. It's not talked about, but the humming or singing actually grounds you and active and takes you out of the fight or flight. So it's a really quick tool that way as well.
Yeah.
I gave you 2.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. Jess or Heather, what's one of your favorite tools? You got 1 minute before we've got to land this cute little plane that we've been flying over this little pond.
Mm-hmm.
What's your go-to tool?
I'm going to come out of left field and I'm just going to go with chocolate. When I'm floaty and I'm all over the place, I'm going to reach for a really good piece of chocolate to bring all of my senses and all of my aliveness into the moment and to be really present with pleasure.
I love that. Thank you. Jess?
I do a lot of humming, to Mark's point. I'll hum into my solar plexus, but also I drop into my womb and just imagine a ball circling around. And sometimes it hits some obstacles and pops off, and then it comes back in, and just trying to find that smoothness of bringing myself back into center.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to guess that none of these tools were things that just dropped in just out of nowhere. And you said, oh my gosh, this is like the exact thing that I needed. I'm going to guess that you had to work to understand that that was yours, even just a piece of chocolate. It's not just a piece of chocolate. It is sensual. It is got depth. It's got ingredients that I can start to pick apart in my mind. I can actually feel them, right? There's a texture to chocolate. I'm using it as an example because it truly is the miracle of being alive. And it's in the tips of your fingers as fast as it's in the tip of a piece of chocolate. The curiosity about that, the miracle of life, and the fact that we can actually experience the tip of a piece of chocolate on a sensual level gets me goosied to the bottom of my feet and the top of my head and makes me want to go like bathe in chocolate right now. I don't know why I've got this desire to, but I do. And maybe that's what I'll do. But we have to land this plane. I am so grateful for the 3 of you joining me, Mark, Jess, Heather. I'm grateful that you'll be on board later this month. I cannot wait to spend the weekend with you. I cannot wait for people to experience you. HCHX 25 is going to be epic. And for that, I have a whole host of humans to celebrate. And I just want to encourage everyone that's listening, that will listen to a recording of this podcast, no matter where you're at, to consider joining us. And if you can't join us, I'd love to give you a challenge. I'd love to just put a nibble in your ear around the concept of curiosity, and curiosity on your own behalf. Curiosity on what it means to feel a little bit better, to take a little bitty step and think about a little bitty tool that could help you grab your own balloon and find some security, find some safe, find some connection. And we invite you to Loveland, Colorado later this month to get with some humans that are willing to help you dive into it, walk with you, sit with you, help you ask great questions. And so with that invitation out into the world, thank you, each of you. As I said in opening, it takes a lot to be human today. Time is our most precious asset. That you would spend the last 49 minutes with me means a lot. And for that, I'm grateful. Be well, be happy. And no matter what you do, don't let anybody fuck with your flow.